Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade in the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm Treese, of course.
It's Nels.
And today we are jumping into your favorite 90 Day Fiance. We are on episode 6. So we getting in there. It's going by a little fast. And y'all, I just can't wait to get into it. Let's just get into it. Let's get
is gonna be something else.
I can't wait.
So we start off with Shai. She's basically saying that she needs to have a conversation with Palau because she's not marrying a man who doesn't want to have no kids. But for now, she gonna it's gonna be water on the bridge for now. She gonna let it go. Apparently he brought her a latte, and she kind of says, "Okay, well, I'm gonna drink it over here in the kitchen." And she was like, because you have an OCD
issues, which we knew.
And he's particular about his home. And he's clearly in denial. I don't remember what he called it earlier on in the show, but he tried to make it seem very minimal, and it's not.
It's not.
And she thinks that he's uptight and that he's been single for too long, and he just needs to loosen up a bit. So he lets her know that he doesn't want to be late for Juma, and he does have a pet peeve about being late for Juma. Apparently there's like a specific time on Friday where you put whatever business you have going on aside and you pray. And he compared it to Christians, but I ain't say all that because I don't know.
He compared it to going to church on Sunday, basically.
Ain't gonna lie, those Christians is a little bit more heathens than that. So I left that part alone. He says, he's gonna take her to meet his community and his extended family. And Shai is super anxious about this. Palau
super anxious. She's nervous, very jittery. She's like, I literally can't stop shaking. And when she's trying to voice this to him, he's just like, oh, it's okay. But yeah, I understand. Now, I'll go ahead.
Especially about the ex-wife.
Right, so because his ex-wife is also a part of the community.
Okay. I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but I'm going to spell it for you guys. Okay, it's Masjid, but that's not how it's pronounced. I don't remember how he pronounced it.
Masha? I thought he said it was like Masha or something like that.
What is it?
Majda or Majda, something like that. Forgive us.
Yes.
We are, forgive us.
Not what we said. Okay. And this is the place of worship.
You can correct us in the comments. And if you haven't already, you can hit the like button.
Correct us on how to pronounce it. Spell it so we can pronounce it. Because I noticed how it's spelled, but that ain't how it's pronounced.
And then hit the subscribe button after you correct us.
I'll hit the subscribe button first and then correct. we like to get comments from our family, okay?
Right. Our family, our community.
Right.
Our Shade Squad community.
So basically he's going to take her to the place of worship where, he attends and the one that he grew up in. Now, on the way there, she does mention that, she is nervous about meeting the ex-wife. And he's like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I will let you know that she's a cool person. And it's basically the same as when I went to go meet your family. She's like, no, you were a visitor. And, I could possibly be here to stay. And, I'm
going to be dealing with these people on an everyday basis. So it's a total different dynamic.
And she had a good point that if the ex-wife doesn't like her, it's going to rub off on the kids and it's going to affect the relationship she has with him. She had a great valid point. And she just wanted to feel validated, I guess. She was like, I don't want you to ignore my feelings. He's like, oh, that's basically what I said. If you recall, I was like, ooh, a little touchy. I don't know what the hell going on with him. I don't know.
I think she was nervous, but I think something was going on with his energy and he just passed that off to her. And it was really fucked up, y'all. It was really fucked up in my opinion.
Yeah. And then he like tried to make a joke and he was like, well, I know what you should do. You should get that booger out your nose. And apparently this is like a joke that he always plays. And she popped him upside the head. And she's like, oh, why do you keep doing that? Like this, it's not funny. He's like, okay. What you're not going to do is put your hands on me. We're going to keep our hands to ourselves. And she's like,
and then all of a sudden, Palau can't be played with. Now all of a sudden, it's not so funny.
Yeah, it's
Mr. Jokester. It ain't cute when I don't like people like that. Oh my God.
He pulled the car over.
Palau, that was so.
He threatened to have her take an Uber back home.
That was so off-putting.
It was a lot. Basically told her, you put your hands on me again. You're going to be taking an Uber back home. And I think she did. She was like, so what? I can't do this or something like that. And she tried to
playing with him. Like she was literally like poking him. Like,
yeah. And he pulled over the car.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sit there. And what she said was she realized that she was joking and he's angry. So yeah, they're
that funny. I'm just saying.
So yeah, finally he takes off driving again. She does not even want to talk. She's just sitting there like with her arms crossed, pissed the fuck off. And he's like, oh, you don't got nothing to say? You don't got nothing to say? Like, dude.
You're treating me like a child. First of all, what we didn't really delve into, and I'm sure this episode is going to be loaded, so we ain't got time to dig and everything like I want to. But he did get on her about her leaving her drawers on the floor. Even she said felt like he was just a little uptight, and she was like, I was hoping he used to lecture me. She talks about how he used to lecture her while they were on the phone, but she thought maybe he would relax a little bit once she got here, and that has not changed. Y'all know I love Jabri and Miona, but I'm starting to love Miona more. I'm here for the smoke, right? So now Miona's been in the US for a couple weeks now, and she said she feels that Jabri's parents are a little stricter than she expected. So Jabri is apparently out doing music. So she's not sure what she's supposed to do. So she's just sitting there looking in the mirror, getting herself cute, doing what she do best. And here come Mahala. Now, I'm trying to like Mahala now. I am. But even she's testing my patience. And that ain't my mama or my mother-in-law. Now, she comes in and wants to speak to Miona. And, she notices that she's been trying to clean up a bit, and she gives her compliments for that. And then, Miona talks about how, she's trying, but she has very limited space. And it's still hard getting adjusted. Then Mahala asks her, well, how is she adjusting to the rapids and, just their home in general? And she says, do you need some help trying to figure out the wash machine? Which is basically a way of saying you need to do laundry. Is the way I would take it, but maybe I'm wrong.
What I loved was she said that she misses her family's hospitality, and it was genuine, that she feels like there's a lot of fakeness.
She did say that. She did. That she ain't never lied. So she takes her downstairs to the basement and shows her, and she's like, oh, in Serbia, this is much more complicated. We got to set it to the exact temperature. Y'all got hot, cold, warm. Oh, that's easy.
Like, I could have figured that shit out.
Like, I could have done that without her help.
But exactly.
Thank you. I guess I'll do my laundry now, Mahala. So while she's trying to do her laundry or putting things in, And I guess she was trying to act like she was trying to help her load the washing machine. She's going through her things and she's like, well, what is this?
Is this for your hair?
And she's like, no, it's a shirt. See, isn't it cute? And she's like, well, it's a little small.
I'm like, well, so am I. Fuck.
Right. And y'all know my little small ass felt some type of way. I wish a motherfucker would come about me in my little shorts.
Me, small.
So she's like, yeah. And so they cut to confessional and Miona's like, look, I am happy with my body. I'm proud of how I look like. And what you're not going to do is tell me how I'm going to dress. This is how I express myself. And so basically she tells Mahala that, Mahala tells her that she feels like she may have a hard time adjusting in Grand Rapids, looking like that, going, walking around like that or whatever. And basically Miona's like, no, she's not basically taking what she's giving. So basically she just breaks it down and asks her, well, can you just not walk around my house, around my husband looking like that? That's basically what it boiled down to.
Basically. I kind of like the fact that Miona was like, oh, well, I would think in the 21st century,
right,
people would understand it's just an expression. It has no bearing on who I am as a person. I was like,
Woo. So yeah, no, it's gonna be
But she does say she's gonna talk to Jabri about this shit. Oh, then I like the fact that she was like, oh, well, the people, like basically the people in this area don't dress like that. She was like, oh, that's more reason for us to move.
Right. I love it. Miona, come for me. She's like, because I don't want to be here no way.
Exactly.
You better stop playing.
But yeah, she did ask her if she can basically just dress more modest around her husband. But it didn't seem like she was really, I mean, from what I saw, it didn't seem like she was dressing any type of disrespectful way, but she agreed. She said she's not happy about it. And
that's haters.
We, type of conversations like these are not always easy, but she still wants them to feel comfortable having them. So I know she plans to have a conversation with Jabri later. So we catch up with Ahri and Biddy, and
they in America, y'all.
Yes, they in America. They tired as fuck. Him and Avi. Apparently to the point where they ain't even hardly leave no room on the bed for Ahri. She said she had to squeeze in, somewhere in the corner to fit. That's all right because she slept a lot on the plane.
Mommy life.
She slept a lot on the plane, so it's cool. You got your sleep.
Right. Payback.
So, then she gets up to go make him some coffee, some American coffee, because it'll be his first time having it. He said that should taste like water.
When I tell you, even Jamel was laughing at that part. He was like, this is some real good, what do you say, water coffee?
Water. Yeah, like it looks like coffee.
But it's
color, but it tastes like water.
This is not coffee. And I've had Ethiopian coffee, and let me tell you, our coffee.
So she said, so the way she made it, if I'm not mistaken, I think she said like it's not as strong as like Cuban coffee. I thought I heard her say Cuban coffee.
What?
I would think that they have their own type of coffee down there.
What? Ethiopia? Yeah, they have their own coffee.
But didn't she mention Cuban coffee?
No. I think Ethiopian coffee. They sit there and it's a whole process. It's not quick either. It's a whole process.
He was like,
it's a whole process. I done had it, but you'll be up.
Expecting him to say it. I was just expecting him to say that it's super sweet, like with the cream and sugar and shit like that. He said that shit is water. So then, Ahri, she expresses her concern about them paying for the apartment in the future and how they're going to afford the utilities. And,
like, don't worry about it. We're in America. It's the land of the free, home of the brave. And he got dreams. He wants to be an MMA fighter.
Yes. Apparently, Ahri says she is used to handling all the financial side of things. Even when Benny would make money, he would give it to her. But right now she is stressed out about that because he can't work, I guess, and whatever money he does get, it probably won't be enough. So she would have to pick up the slack, I'm sure is how she's feeling. So she's pretty stressed out about that. And yes, he feels like he got dreams. He wants to be a super fighter, a super MMA fighter. And Ahri said she did the research and they don't get paid much. And whatever they do get paid, it usually goes back into their training. So as a hobby, it sounds like a great idea, but not to support the family.
You better work.
But she is happy that, he's happy about his American dream. So she decides to show him her town in Princeton. And the first thing he notices is the difference between Ethiopia and Princeton is it's not full of people. It's not super crowded everywhere. And he says, it's beautiful, it's calm and peaceful. Oh, and rich people live there. Mm-hmm. I said, well, he did pick that up. Yeah, rich people do live there. And she's going through giving him the history that, presidents have lived there, celebrities have lived there. And he's like, yes, I'm going to buy you a home here. And she's like, these are easily $1 million. Like, easily. Like, this is for rich people. And basically shuts him the fuck up. And Benny feels like, well,
if it was that expensive to live here, why we come here?
Basically. That's basically what he said. And he says that he hopes to be able to help her out when he gets his green card.
So we see Thais, and they are on the way to their lovely home. And she is amazed at just how different everything really is. So on their way home, she makes it very clear that she did not come to the United States to live with John. Not part of her plan. And she doesn't understand why John has to live with them. But Patrick always conveniently changes the subject. So then, as they arrive to the house, he introduces her to Theodore, who is their cute little fluffy fur ball.
He is adorable.
Adorable. And, she loves it. And John is there to welcome her when she's like, oh, hi, John. And, pop a bottle of champagne and celebrate her arrival. Mm-hmm. So then, they have their first night of sex in America. And she said it was great. So Patrick says it was the best time of his life. He goes to make her breakfast. And then she talks about how she wanted to get up and walk around her new home naked after their night of sexual bliss. But she couldn't because John is there. And then when she does put her clothes on and go outside, John is there playing video games, drinking at, I think it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. And she feels some type of way. She points out that she said, John, what are you doing? And he's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like,
mind your business, lady.
Basically. And she's like, only crazy people drink this early in the morning.
But you don't.
So then John basically asks her how she feels about them being a family. And she says, it's difficult to me. She said that very clear in English. Very clear.
Yes, she did. Titles, but I understood it.
Right. So as Patrick is trying to make her breakfast, John offers up I guess he has some steak that he can add to it. So as he's going to get the steak and he's making her eggs and getting her fruit together, and he makes his plate, and I guess he's like, let me hook some up for John since he's bringing some steak. And she's like, what are you doing? She's like, why are you come sit down and eat? And he's like, oh, I'm hooking up some eggs for John. She's like, no, he's a grown man. He can make his own breakfast. And clearly John might not know no Portuguese, but let me tell you something. He can pick up on very social cues, okay? Because he's just like, well, yeah, I'm bringing the steak. Like, why wouldn't he let him do what he feels he needs to do? Like, and so there's already a lot of tension. You knew it would be between John and Thais, and I was like, oh, this ain't gonna end well. Because I have a feeling who's gonna win.
I thought it was hilarious. John flipped his steak off the damn pan and onto the floor. And Thais is like, well, no, I'm sorry, the brother. He was like, you gonna make another steak? And he's like, no, we're gonna eat it. They're starving kids. We're gonna eat it. And he's like, oh, well, Thais knows about starving kids. She's from Brazil. And he's like, exactly. We're gonna eat it. So Thais didn't say a motherfucking thing. She
got
gets up from the table.
I didn't know what made her get up. I didn't catch that part. That's
she
crazy.
Paid no mind to what the fuck he said. She got up from the table and she said, let's go. And that motherfucker followed right behind her. I said, on me, John, you in trouble. I want to start looking for another place.
Everybody, let's go.
So Eve called a plumber to install this bidet for Muhammad. Okay. And I guess maybe Muhammad hears voices or something in the house because, you know, he in the other room with Aaron. And he comes in there all in her face. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you call me? You know, she in her little sweet little American voice, she's like, oh, I thought you were in there with Aaron. And he's like, yeah, okay. You can't be alone in here with this guy. And she's, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to leave the room or like, do I leave the house?
Am I supposed to go outside my house?
He's like, yeah, outside. You need to go outside, like outside the door. And she's just confused, like, how the fuck am I supposed to leave my house? Like, she's like, I didn't know all of this.
I'm a Muslim woman, and you are in America, and I didn't expect this. I'm not a Muslim.
Yeah, he basically tells her everywhere that there's a stranger, you need to be distanced from them. And she tells us in the confessional that she's really annoyed because she was trying to be, you know, nice and sweet, trying to do something for her man, but she's being scolded. So she's feeling some type of way. And he says he gave up everything in Egypt to be here with her, and he's made sacrifices. And she says she's made them too. And that she's trying to learn, you know, all the rules because she didn't know there was so many. And he's like, okay, well, I'm glad you learned one more today. I'm just like, this motherfucker just got a rebuttal for every motherfucking thing. He is on it. Okay.
Yes.
So then she mentions making a list of all the rules. He's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah, you should. She's like, I was being sarcastic. He's like, no, yeah, like that's a good idea. I think you should make a list. So she basically feels like he should be more flexible because she's not a Muslim woman. He's like, I'm not asking you to be a Muslim woman, but I'm a Muslim man. And she's like, okay, but we're here in America. And he's like, okay, and I am who I am. And I feel him. I was a Muslim man.
I had to give her, you know.
Before I came here to America, you knew just because you didn't do all your research. You know what I mean? You brought me here because you wanted to marry me. So the fuck shit's supposed to change now because I'm here? No. Fuck out of here. You decided to conform to what the fuck I told you my way of life is living. So I completely understand. I get it. But she says that she's realizing that she has a lot more to learn about Muhammad in the next 90 days. And if he's not willing to bend to the way things are in the US, and if he tries to change her too much, then it won't work out. Ma'am, I don't know why you keep on saying about the US because they have Muslim religion here as well. And they do the same exact thing. So you just need to do some research. It's not about where he's from. It's about his religion, lady.
Well, that part. So Palau is still in his feelings. Like Drake. He's in his
now so is Shai.
And so is Shai. So they're you know, I guess he decided he won't go put her out on the side of the road. And but he accuses her of being a violent person. I thought this was very extreme and like extra. And basically talks about how it's always, this is what I can't stand when I don't like people who don't like shit talk to them, but they like to talk it. And that's
but they can't take it.
Right. And that's what Palau gives me. So after accusing her of being a violent person, he then says, "Oh, it's always all jokes until it gets serious." You would have got punched in your face. That would have been serious for me. But
like, he's making it seem like, she really like gave him like some real lashings, and she's like that it was playful taps, like what we call like love taps.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he definitely took it overboard. Like, it was a lot. And she lets him know that, dude, you're killing my mood. He's like, right. I'm killing your mood.
He then gets out the car and walks away and just completely leaves her, doesn't really tell her anything. She's like, "Oh, are we here?" And he's like, "Yeah." So she's like, "Oh, well, am I getting out the car?" Because he just walks away. Apparently,
I was like, he gonna open the door? No.
But he doesn't even communicate that to her because he's so frustrated with her because it's all games. You know what, Palau? You might have lost my vote. You might have lost my vote, bro.
No, I really liked Palau, but this was like, a lot. I see why he was single so long.
Right. And so then, he gets the kids. They get back in the car. Them kids are very much grown, and not grown, but grown enough that ain't no way they didn't know that there was issues.
They sensed the tension.
Right. Even Stevie Wonder could see that shit. So Palau says that he feels disrespected and he's really irritated. He was really looking forward to Juma, especially this being her first. So he's a bit disappointed that all of these things transpired. Shai talks about how during Juma, she does go sit with his mother. But then after, she talks about how she feels alone. He gets up, he goes and greets all of his other family members. He doesn't introduce her to nobody. And she's just sitting there looking like she's lost. Like she
lost little puppy.
Right. And we all know she's shy. So it's not like she's gonna go up and be like, "Hey, you know what I mean?" So I felt like that was messed up for because they're in the community.
When she's like, "Oh, so are you ready to leave?" She goes up to him and says, "Are you ready to leave?" He's like, "Yeah, meet me outside." But he really had no intentions, no plans on introducing her to anyone. He was still in there talking to people and tells her to wait outside. I thought that was, to me, it was disgusting.
Yeah. So then she gets to meet Shahida, right? Or Shahida? Is that the wife?
Shahida, yeah.
Shahida. So she gets to meet her. They have just exchanged simple pleasantries.
It was a little awkward.
It was a little awkward.
She really just asked how your trip was and it was like, right, well, I got to go. I got things to do.
He's like, "Okay, we'll get up, we'll connect." But apparently, I guess that's her daughter. She has another daughter. So maybe she had another child after him.
Well, I know she's married.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's probably the husband's child.
I said, "Go ahead, girl. One monkey don't stop no show."
Remember, she left his ass.
Right. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, but Shai, you might need to read the red flags. You may need to pull her to the side and have a sidebar and a conversation.
Probably not gonna shit talk him, but I mean, hopefully
I think she'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
She probably got tired of the lectures too. So then we see that him and the kids are getting ready, they're leaving with them. And he's like, "Well, we have to have a conversation." And she's like, "Well, that's fine, but I think you're being extra." and and they're trying not to get into. That's why I was like, I know these kids felt this tension because I felt it through the TV.
But they're not even talking in the car or nothing.
I was just like, yeah.
I'm super disappointed in you, Palau.
I am super, super disappointed in Palau. And Shai, girl, you better find your voice. Don't marry this man if that's how you really feel.
Kara and Guillermo are meeting up with some of Kara's friends. I believe it's Hillary and Cooper. You see, I had it. Go me. And she says that her friend Hillary is very inquisitive, so she's probably going to ask some hard questions.
Hillary and really, she's a mess.
Yeah, and she's clearly here for it because she knows she's putting her man in the hot seat, but she want to know the answers to these questions. Now, question numero uno. Okay, Hillary says, "You're 23. How do you feel about? Do you feel like you're ready to get married?" And he's like, "What do you think?" Like, she's like, "Well, I'm really just asking because at 23, I wasn't ready." And he basically said, "We are not the same, bitch. I am a Martian." Okay. At 23, I was taking care of myself, paying my own bills, having a job, having my own place. Like,
from a whole country going.
Exactly. Bitch, were you doing that at 23? Like, basically, I experienced a hell of a lot more. So it made me mature a lot faster at 23. So let's not compare. I said, oh, he ready for the fight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
And basically, then Hillary says she is a little bit concerned because of their age difference and, everything happened really fast. And it's hard to, get to know somebody basically in a foreign country. And she wanted to know if there's something about Kara that just really pisses him off, just aggravates him. And he says when she gets drunk, she never remembers what happens. She wants to be basically the first at the party, the last to leave. And it's aggravating him. He don't care about that party life and he not. And that actually shows his maturity a little bit. I was like, well, damn.
Grandma, you might be older than me, shit.
He says, he'll never tell her what to do, but she does need to understand that he does have his limit. Right. So Hillary asks what the biggest fight is that they've ever gotten into. And he says, I think it's when you threw my clothes out the window. She was like, oh, is it because of that message to the girl? I'm like, holy fuck. It's like, what happened here?
What happened to the roses and the stars and the fairies and all that?
So there was a Canadian girl before her. And, I guess Guillermo sent a message to Kara and it said, it was like a picture of a moon. And he said, I wish you could be here to watch the moon with me. Now, later on, Kara was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. So sweet. My baby's so cute. And then later on, she went through his phone. And so he sent the same message to the Canadian bitch. Now, I don't know if I would have I don't know if I would have threw your shit out the window, but you definitely deserve some type of repercussions.
Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, I think he was like, well, I think he was just like, well, I didn't say the same exact thing. What you said, the sun?
Right.
Hell. So she asked them, okay, with all of this, y'all feel like y'all can trust each other? And she's like, well, Guillermo, really, that's for you because you go through my phone a lot more than I go through yours. He's like, well, when I do go through it, I go through it in front of you to get your reaction. Okay. Because if you snatching my phone like this, you snatching the phone away from me like this. I actually like the way he demonstrated it. He picked up her phone. He said, because if I go like this to her phone and I do this and she snatches the phone away from me, basically, I already know what I need to know. There's no need to go through it. I was like, oh, okay. All right, Guillermo. You put this bitch to the test. Okay. Guillermo, why this bitch drunk and probably passed the fuck out? This nigga probably going through that bitch and shit. Yeah, she awake. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she up. She seen me. The bitch is dead to the world.
And Hillary thinks this is very alarming that they not married yet. They already going through each other's phones. They arguing about the Canadian girl. And obviously the age difference. And Kara has maybe a little bit of a lush. So
Yeah, and Kara actually, she's a little bit concerned too. She's like, "Oh, one side of me is telling me everything will be fine, and the other side is like, yeah, we got a lot of problems we need to figure out." She don't give a fuck. She want to walk across. She want to jump that broomstick. Okay, she don't give two damns.
Look, she said, "I'm trying to be a better person every day."
Benny and Avi are traveling to New York, from Jersey.
Avi, you mean Ahri?
What I say? I said Avi. Yes, Benny and Ahri are traveling to New York from Jersey. They done left. That's what I was gonna say. They done left Avi with the grandparents. I'm just a little bit confused how they plan on hanging out and doing all this stuff when they don't even got rent money. They're supposed to be trying to save.
Let them live. He just got there. Let them live.
What money? I thought they didn't have no money.
Everybody do it. Everybody do it. We see everybody do it when they first get to the United States. Don't try to cheat Benny out his experience. All the way over here. Let him walk around New York. And ain't like a 5-star dinner.
We'll let him get a pass. Okay. It is his first time in the US. She takes him to see New York and he is in amazement. It is actually really super fucking cute. Like they go down into the subway and he's like, is all of New York underground? I just thought it was fucking hilarious. Then, how the people on the subway, like online, they do their little dances and stuff like that on the train. And it was cute because he tried to do it. He was like, this is how they do the dance. And I was like,
it was adorable.
In the full New York experience. So
make sure y'all put some money in his bucket when y'all see him in the subway.
So then they're walking and he sees a water fountain and he's like, what is this? And she's like, what? You've never seen a water fountain before? Apparently in Ethiopia, in order to get water outside of your home, you get it from the river. So he says it was a great experience to see and get to experience a water fountain. I was like, I don't know. Just watching him go through New York was fucking beautiful to me. Okay. So then they stop by a restaurant and, Ahri wants to know how he feels about New York. And he was like, it's beautiful. He's ready to move there. Okay. She's like, you want to live here? Like, it's it's not cheap. It might be, it might be more expensive than where the hell they at right now. Okay.
Oh, absolutely it is.
He's like, oh, well, the rent is very expensive, but your salary is very expensive. She's like, we don't have jobs, homie. Like, we are unemployed. What salary? Fuck is you talking about? And, she says that she's really stressed out because, he just got there and he's already ready to move out. And she doesn't feel like he really appreciates that her parents got them this really great apartment and they signed a year lease. And he's like, okay, all right, just like calm down, like relax. And she's like, apparently she don't like that. She does not like to be told to calm down. So he's like, okay, well, I'm just throwing out ideas and you don't have to get mad. Ahri lets us know that she spent most of her adult life abroad as well. So this is new for her.
You don't know how to pay bills. Also,
she's like, I ain't never had to pay no rent or no bills in the US either. So
I guess I was going to say it's not much of a difference, but I don't know. Maybe they don't have where you can just go online and pay over there. Maybe you got to walk it somewhere or do something. I don't know.
Maybe you don't have to pay a lease and you know what I mean? Like maybe it doesn't mess up your credit and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it seemed like it was nothing for her to do it in Ethiopia.
Right.
But it's probably not the same type of deal as here. That's why I think another reason why she keeps on bringing they signed a year lease or whatever. Maybe it's not the same constraints or whatever. And he basically feels like he tells her I feel like you're just getting mad about the small things and it's not fair. And she's like, you think this is small? It's small and this is not important. Then maybe we just shouldn't get married.
Yeah, it was extra.
And he was just
it was what day? They've been there for a couple of days, but I just felt like let him enjoy his moment, enjoy New York, and this
he was enjoying it. It was really
there. And why? Yes, those are things that need to be talked about, but he can't get a job right there, then and there. Neither can you. So what was the point of sitting there fucking up the whole night? I just didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The way she feels, she said, is, she's with someone who's the complete opposite of her. He's a dreamer and she's more of a realist. And she doesn't have much room to dream because she's too busy trying to bring him down to earth. So
it is Jabri and Mahala, right? So she's sitting there trying to walk the dogs all peacefully. I'm just setting up scenery for y'all. It's looking like a nice day in South Rapid, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Grand Rapids, South Dakota. And so, it's looking like a nice day. He's sitting out on the porch with his pink hair, his Chris Brown going on. He's sitting there. He's like, no, I need you to sit down. We need to have a conversation. Can you come outside? Can you close the door? Can you close the other door? Because we need to have. He said he ain't here to play no games.
Dumbass.
Going to give Miona his last name. Tired of telling you the same damn thing. Anyway, so he lets his mother know he gonna get straight to the point. I'm pissed off, mama. I am not a 13-year-old boy. I'm a man. And
you living here with me, homie?
He look, and she'd be like, well, man your ass up and get out of my house. But anyway, so he said that this is not how he expected it to go. And Miona's uncomfortable. And he feels like she's been completely irrational and that she's not being appropriate. So he says that he felt like his mother was testing him. And, he knows Miona has a temper, so he don't want her to get to a point where she go off on his mama and then there's no point of return, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mahala's like, did she have a conversation with somebody else? Because I don't feel that there was a miscommunication. She
didn't seem like she was that mad.
And so now she feels like, well, is this bitch fake? Because she didn't.
But what Jabri said was, he was like, well, like he thinks it's a respect thing. Like she was trying to show her respect and not, you know what I mean, express how upset she was. But she did say she was upset about it. Those words did come out her mouth.
She did. And Mahala said, I didn't go through anyone's laundry, which she didn't, but she did comment on it.
But bitch, I didn't need you to help me with my laundry either. I didn't need you to grab no clothes.
Jabri says she feels like you're trying to change her into someone that she's not. And Mahala says, I don't think you know what you're talking about. And basically said that I'm concerned because I think that the real issue is between you and Miona, and you're taking that out on me. She hitting that therapy shit on y'all.
He called it the therapy kung fu thing.
Right. And he does say that he is under a lot of pressure because Miona does not want to be here. She wants to get out. He's under a lot of pressure to basically financially make something happen. And she's just
not willing to compromise.
Right. And she's not willing to compromise. So all these rules, sorry, all these rules, regulations and shit ain't gonna work for him. Thank you, by the way. So basically she's like, well, are you sure this is the person that you should be getting married to? If you're under that mother, she's like, you should have somebody that is going to pick you up when you fall, basically. Mm-hmm. Like that's what.
Not just sit on the sidelines and watch.
Right. She then, and Nels, I'll let you say it because I didn't get it word for word. But basically she says she wants her son to be with someone that she knows that if she's not there to pick him up and dust him off when he needs it, that she can.
She wants to make sure she's capable of doing the work and won't just sit by and expect everyone else to do it because she's pretty and shows her breast, is what she said. And apparently now she's not even sure if she can support their marriage because she doesn't feel like now she knows Miona.
She really is.
Miona was fake with her, but I think Miona was picking up on whatever y'all was putting down because Miona said you was fake first. So I'm just saying.
Just saying.
So Patrick is taking John and Thais to go play some mini golf, especially after the fiasco this morning. He's hoping that maybe they can mend some fences. So he has a conversation with Thais and tells her to try a little bit more happiness and to be a little bit more soft. And she's like, basically, I was giving the same energy he was giving. And
matched his energy.
Basically, and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to him too. But keep that in mind. So Patrick basically just wants everyone to get along. And they hop in the car, they're on their way. And when they get there, Thais is basically in a confessional saying, John needs to treat her better tonight than he did earlier because there's no need for that. And I was just like, oh, with him? Or am I tripping? Didn't she start? Why are you worried about? Didn't she start with him in the morning about his drinking?
Yeah, she did.
That ain't your man. Why are you worried about what he drinking and what time he doing it? And John basically says that, it's a great dream for all of them to, get along together and live together. And if she's willing to put in the effort, then he's willing to put in the effort, but only time will tell. I guess we will see. And apparently somebody got swindled, somebody got bamboozled because Thais is whooping ass in this damn mini golf game. She is whooping their ass, and supposedly this is her first time playing. As a matter of fact, she tells them she's going inside.
She won
because I already won. So when y'all are done here, y'all call me, okay? So they take the time to sit down and have a conversation. Patrick did mention that he was going to talk to John, so he brings up that he was a little rough with her this morning. He's like, "Well, is that your interpretation or hers?" He was like, "It's hers, but I'm the middleman. So I'm here to, interpret it for you."
Right. And he said, well, I need my own damn interpreter because she didn't tell me that.
Because she don't speak your language. But guess what? I speak them both. Nope. So Patrick says that, he's on both of their side and he doesn't want to have to pick between either one of them. Like that would be the worst scenario for him. And he just hopes that everybody, can figure this shit out. And John is like, he really does hope so. And John gets teary-eyed, like with the producers. And he says that, they went through some good times and through some tough times. And it's like real shit. And
apparently
not be able to be with him, that would be, really tough too. What'd you say?
I said, apparently a lot of drama to dealing with their family and how they grew up.
Mm-hmm. And Patrick, he really just wants, what he said was he really just wants to see that, for Thais to see that John is a good person. He's not this exterior that he puts up with the going through the 6-pack or this hard exterior that he has. She just wants her to understand, how he was brought up and why he is the way he is. And he feels like once she learns that and why the way he is, that she'll feel like he's a good person as well. And she'll love him just as much as he does. And he feels like it'll make a world of difference. What happened?
And has no choice because they're family.
Basically.
Palau. I am so disappointed in you, sir, but we're going to get into it. So he drops Shai off and takes the kids to practice. And by the way, if y'all have not already liked the video, please make sure that you do so.
And you subscribe.
Right. So then she takes the time to namaste and do her downward dog. And I was like, she's in a lot of clothes to be doing.
She was doing a lot more than downward dog.
She was doing upside down dog and cat pose and cow reverse.
She flipped it and reversed it. I don't know what the hell she did.
Yeah.
Right.
So she said that she's upset that she just can't take a taxi and go home. Like she has no choice but to try to work this shit out. And I was like, no, you could basically tell him that you want to get on a plane and go home. But Palau gives me, and I'm going to be honest with y'all, and this is why I say, Palau, I'm disappointed in you, because what he's giving, he would be the type to be like, all right, figure it out. You can go home. Get home yourself. That's what
he would do that?
Absolutely.
Pay for her way to go back home? Mm-hmm.
He gives me that type of like
pettiness.
Yeah.
So after the mass, that was disgusting.
Yeah. So he comes back home and he sees that she's sitting waiting for him. And I guess they were supposed to be going out for a date night. So he's like, oh, you look very nice. And he's like, I guess you're ready for date night. And he's like, well, I'm not really feeling like going. I'm not really feeling it. And he's like, we need to have a conversation. And he said, based off of what happened in the car, you know, I'm just not happy with you. I'm not in a good mood. And she's like, I was playing with you. I said that you played with me. You played a whole practical joke on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how me and my brother-in-laws play with each other. We slap each other aside the head. We give elbows. And he's like, elbows are fine. Elbows are fine, but slapping you hit me pretty hard. I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's feelings, but it's irritating me because I do agree with Shai in this moment that I think it's okay for him to do whatever he wants to do. But when she does it back and she's like, no, I don't want to play that. Like, he's like, oh, I don't want to play this game anymore. Oh, it's not so cute. But Shai didn't get that choice to be like, oh, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Okay. So in Shai's defense, I completely get it. To me, it's not a big deal. I didn't think it was, I felt like it was a love tap. And yes, I'm playing with you. Now, I don't know his upbringing. I don't know what the hell he's referring to, but I do understand boundaries. Okay. And if a motherfucker tell you, stop, I'm serious, or stop, this is the consequence, or stop, I'm not playing, whatever the case may be, now you really are crossing a boundary when you don't stop and listen to what I'm saying. Because if you're playing and I'm being serious, but I took the time out to, instead of reacting, let you know that I'm serious and it's not a game to me. When I react, you're going to be looking crazy because you were still playing.
Stop. Yeah,
exactly. So I can understand both sides. I just don't think for this specific situation with the popping upside the head or whatever, I know he took it some type of way because he was driving or whatever, but I feel like what it was, the reason why it happened, I don't agree with, but I do agree with what he's saying.
Okay. So basically she says where she's from is that they just, and I believe this to be true, they just offend each other and move on.
That's everywhere outside the U.S.
They just offend each other and they move on. Don't nobody take it to heart. Ain't nobody holding no grudges. They just offend each other and keep it going. So I was like, it is a cultural difference. She starts to cry and he says, although it hurts to see her cry, you know, and then she talks about, before she starts crying, she talks about how he left her alone.
And she felt isolated. I didn't like the fact that he didn't really touch on that because he was just like, oh, well, I was hurt too.
And he says, sometimes it's better for me to be silent.
What? You weren't silent when you were talking to people, though. Still could have introduced me.
I don't know.
I walked through these doors with you.
Right.
And now I'm looking crazy wandering around while you're off saying hi to everyone. So now next time I come here, I'm going to feel fucking crazy when I'm finally introduced to everybody. So I thought I did not like the fact he didn't touch on that. I thought that was super disrespectful. I wish she would have stood up for herself more with that subject. So
yeah, no. And he said that it was best for him to be silent, for him to talk about it after the fact, even though it hurts to see her cry. She tells him she's very sorry. And at this point, I started not to get disappointed in her because I know she's only doing what she can do because she's now stuck in America and trying to figure it out. But more just now you have to sit here and apologize for shit that you don't even necessarily feel that you're sorry for, but you're in a fucked up situation, so you can't really speak your mind.
She just kind of agreed to disagree. She has her view and the way she was brought up, and he has his view and the way he was brought up. So she just recognizes a cultural difference. She doesn't understand it, but she's going to accept it.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm definitely seeing a different side of Palau, and I can understand why he's divorced, why he's been single, and why he probably has not been able to keep a woman for this long. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another review of 90 Day Fiance. Please make sure that you like,
you comment,
you subscribe,
and hit the notification bell.
And yes, and we will catch you next week. We are going to be a little delayed, guys, because it's a holiday and just
we got a lot going on.
So are we. But yes, we will get it to you when you can, as we always do. And, we know you'll be waiting on it. But thank you. We love you, and have a good Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye.
Mwah.
Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Front, back, side to side. Make sure you go like and subscribe. Hey!